one thing I'd love to have you talk about a little bit, because I think most startup owners don't think of it this way. They think that there's some kind of formula of money that they can spend on Facebook ads and Google ads to go get new customers. Talk about how you went and found your first batch of new customers.
Yeah, sure. So in true military fashion, we actually kind of did it a bit like a military operation. So we sat there, and the first thing we did was we got a whiteboard, the big marker, and Jono and I sat there over a bourbon, and we were writing up on the whiteboard about where would you not see two knuckle-dragging ex-infantry thug lookalikes? Like, where would you not see us? Where are we a point of difference? And we started, non-for-profits, clinical care, medical, education. Where would you see us? Ex-defense, government, mines, policing, corrections. You will see us there. You won't see us here. So we just went, well, straight away, we're going to lean into these areas. Where will we be a point of difference? And then from that, we broke down and we said, we're going to start probing out, and we're going to do it in a couple of different ways. We'll probe out off different platforms to see how we are perceived by others. And like we were talking about at the start of this session, we expect to fail. We expect that, only 5 or 10% of these will land, and that initially there's going to be a huge energy and time resource burn to get us in the place there where we need to be, but we don't pretend to know where that is yet. So we kind of, stretching out into the world. So we tried LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we tried different messaging and types aimed at these different industries to say, where are we going to provide value? Where are we different? LinkedIn quickly rose to the top, and I had developed a fair few, tactile skills on that platform. And so we started building our personal brands concurrently while we were building the company brand, and then showing the value of the company and going, well, if you like me as a human, you should see the rest of my team because they're incredible. And so that logic starts and continues to work very positively for us to this day. We didn't spend any money on advertising, and we still haven't. I think all up since our business has been running, we've probably spent less than $500 on advertising on any platforms at all. We work to what we're good at, and we play to our strength, which was people. We like building relationships with people. And the most effective way we found early days was I sat there, and for each of those industry types, I identified 10 CEOs via LinkedIn, and I wrote them a handwritten letter and said, hey, this is my company. These are things I'm identifying about you personally, but your company, your team, how your presence, these are the things that have drawn me to you. And, this is a bit about us. This is how I see or perceive you. I'd love the opportunity to have a chat. I'll take you out for a coffee or a beer. And that had a phenomenal conversion rate because it was a bit unusual that people were writing handwritten letters in today's technological world.
Quaint. It's quaint.
Right?
I love it.
It's traditional.
Yeah.
And, and we saw the value of that in the military. Before you went to a new unit, you used to write a letter of introduction. They called it a demi-official letter. And I was like, why don't we just do that? It's a very polite and traditional way and a respectful way of showing who you are. And it shows that you've dedicated time to this person. And that had a massive effect on our end. And, where we saw opportunities was in the pharmaceutical industry, particularly medicinal cannabis, which was something that I was taking at the time because of some of these injuries. And I found it very effective from a veteran standpoint. And that created new projects and opportunities and partnerships. And we're still seeing the legacy of that today.
How many letters did you send out, David?
I did 1 day's worth of writing letters. I sat down and I put some music on and I sat there and I just wrote letter after letter. I don't know how many I wrote in total, maybe, 30, something like that.
Yeah.
And that generated enough work for us to have a huge surge of capital for our company. And
what'd you get? Probably 50% respond to you?
probably 70% response.
70%, 70%
Yeah.
responded to a cold letter. These were not people that knew of you,
No,
knew anything. You just,
never met me in any way. No,
yep. So a
no,
cold handwritten letter and 70% response rate,
huge. Yep.
right? And you just, you think about that, you know, for anyone in sales, for anyone in new business. My father-in-law got, you know, he started a business when he was 20 years old, came right off the boat from Poland, barely spoke English, right? Like when you talk about someone with street smarts, when you were talking about resume and, you know, tell me about how you would convey it on, he's never had a resume in his life, right? He's incredibly
Yes.
successful,
What's that?
owns a business. He's my mentor and my model for what I've done in commercial real estate. No college degree, doesn't even have a high school degree. But what he did was he rented a welder and a van, and he drove from, you know, south side of Chicago. He went from place to place. And like you, he targeted the ones that spoke a little Polish or, you know, might be more open to having Polish workers. And he would just go door to door and say, I have a welder. Do you need any work done? And that's all he did, right? Like when
Yeah.
you ask
Yeah.
him, how'd you
Right.
start your business? There was no advertising. There was no marketing. He went door to door and people gave him work and he would do a great job. And then they would recommend him to someone else and he would do a great job for them until it turned into a huge customer. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no more to his story than that. And it's turned into a 50-year business that's incredibly successful on the south side of Chicago. And that's it, right?
Right.
It's,
Good.